Good morning, everybody. We're here today. We have Linda and Karen and Tracy and myself. We're here today to talk to you about gratitude. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about why we are people of gratitude for God and for all he does for us. And then we're also going to talk to you a little bit about how we approach thankfulness as different numbers in the Enneagram. So I'm just going to start out with a question for my three friends here of why do you think it's important to be practicing gratitude?
All right, I'll start. When I read the Bible, especially when I read letters that Paul has written, and he always tells us to be thankful and joyful in all circumstances, and we give thanks in all circumstances, and because that's the will of God, I do believe that's true. I also do give thanks every day for all kinds of things. First of all, for my relationship with God, and secondly, that he chose me to be his daughter. So why wouldn't I want to do what I can to please him? And I find so many things to be grateful for every day. It can be the small thing like thanks for letting me see the sunshine this morning, or not, as is the case around here quite a bit. And but I don't think of it as practicing gratitude because I truly am thankful for every moment. And mostly because it's based on the Bible. And the more I grow in my faith and my relationship with God, the more I want to thank him for everything in my life.
Thank you, Linda. What about you, Tracy?
I'll go next. The practice of gratitude is a reminder for me of that all of this comes through God. All of that, what we have, that what we experience is God's, to have hearts full of thankfulness and to stop and to truly have gratitude in all circumstances, as Linda said, as the Bible instructs us. It continues that conversation and relationship for me with God, as well as it enforces or encourages me to remember that I need to rely on God, not just in those moments of great joy, which is different than gratitude, but in all things, in those moments that are even challenging or traumatic or difficult. And so continuing to always be thankful ensures that in those moments of challenge that I have a grateful heart.
Awesome. Karen, what about you?
Well, I guess it's my turn. I think Linda and Tracy just said it so well and so eloquently. Being a person of gratitude or having an attitude of gratitude is so important in the life of a Christian, not just for yourself, but for other people. Perhaps other people can learn by observing to be more grateful, making a deliberate choice every morning, every day to be grateful for those things that we have, and even be grateful and give thanks for challenges that we're facing, because it can bring us closer to God.
Yeah, I think that's really important that we do practice that gratitude, because it's easy to be grateful when things are going well, but when things aren't going well, we have to first and foremost always go back to that gratitude that can be difficult. And if we practice it, if we do it all the time now, when we face those really difficult challenges, we're ready. So all of us have been taking the Enneagram course, and some of us are on our second round of it, of taking the Enneagram course that is facilitated by Pastor Garrett. And we're different numbers. I'm an 8, but Linda is also an 8, and Karen's a 5, and Tracy's a 6. And as those of you who are watching probably are aware, there are 9 ways that we approach the world. that we respond to the world around us. And in those 9 ways, there's an infinite number of ways that it can present itself. So all 8s are different. Every 8 is unique. Every 5 is unique. Every 6 is unique. But there's an inner response and motivation within your number that is common to all those that share your number. So I'm going to have these ladies quickly just define what their number is and what that generally means. What is a general 8? What is a general 5? What is a general 6? So this time we'll start with Tracy. So can you just tell us, Tracy, what a 6 is like?
Okay, I'd be happy to. A 6 is me. And so if you know me, you know what a 6 is.
You keep
No,
up.
just kidding. To be honest, is very loyal. A 6 is someone who seeks out teams and cooperation. They're hardworking, they're reliable, but on the other side, they can also be very anxious, and some of their motivation is based upon fear and seeking out security and safety. And so in our Enneagram numbers, we have parts of them that bring us to more wholeness of what God is intending for us and how we reflect him out into the world and bring glory to him. And then there's experiences and things that have happened in our life that sometimes bring forth maybe not the best attributes. And in some words, they say that's the unhealthy part of our number. And so that anxiety and that fear would be based more on that, where that team and feeling self-confident and being committed to justice. 6s very much want to either look to authority or question authority, but that's all based upon security and safety and making sure people are doing the right things. So that's just kind of a nugget of what a 6 is.
Great, thank you. Karen, tell us about being a 5.
Well, 5s are known as observers. We like to observe situations, but don't necessarily want to participate. 5s are analytical, knowledgeable. We like to find out lots of information about things. We love learning. We're curious. We tend to be introverts. We value our privacy. We don't particularly like interacting with other people. So which is like, wow, it's a miracle I'm doing this. But we're really quite lovely people.
Yes.
We value our self-reliance and our independence and our privacy. I guess one of our strengths is that we are able to understand complex problems, observing and analyzing things, and perhaps being able to explain what's going on. But we have a tendency to want to keep all that information to ourselves. And one of the things 5s struggle with is sharing, and especially sharing our time and ourselves. So we kind of hoard our time, and so that's something that I work on as a 5.
How about you, Linda, as an 8?
All right. Well, 8s are known as the bosses because we like to be in control. And it's not necessarily that we want to be in control of other people. We want to be in control of our own lives and our own selves and our own situations. Some of us are very good at planning tasks. Some of us are good at planning and executing those tasks. And some of us are good at planning, executing, and completing tasks. So no matter what you are as an 8, there's leeway to, we're not all going to be exactly the same in any of the numbers. We do have that desire to control our lives, and we also hunger for more, not necessarily materialistic things, but we feel like we can always do better. Like, I've completed this project, and in hindsight, I could have done this and made it even better than it already is. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more, but sometimes we need to know when, enough is enough and back off a little bit. Some of our weaknesses are we really don't like to feel vulnerable. So we kind of hide our feelings, but in doing that, we might also unintentionally hurt other people because we're so organized and we're driven to get things done and completed. And because we know what needs to be done and what we want done, we don't always consider how other people are approaching the task as well. So the Enneagram has really helped to not only me understand my own number better, but understanding other people. And it makes it easier to communicate in a way that we can all understand and appreciate each other.
So in your number, you're going to practice gratitude differently because you are different in how you approach the world and in how you respond to the world. So Karen, you get to go first this time.
Oh boy.
Has a 5. What does practicing gratitude look like?
Well, I really had to think a lot about this question.
Yeah,
As a 5, as someone who really values independence and self-reliance and not wanting to rely on anybody for anything, I was thinking like, well, if I have trouble accepting that, how can I show gratitude? However, I mentioned a time as hoarding time. That's a problem some 5s have. And so I've decided that to really show gratitude, what I would like to do and have started doing is sharing more of my time, making that kind of a sacrifice of showing gratitude. And it can be something as simple as, spending time in conversation with somebody, especially if they're sharing a problem, instead of like looking at my watch or feeling like I don't have enough time to talk with them, really making an effort to do that. And sometimes it's easier as a 5 to do things rather than to talk about them and to pay it forward. So one way I show my appreciation on a larger scale is to do volunteer work, like down at the Samaritan Center or Meals on Wheels. It gives me an opportunity to show, how grateful I am, for the blessings that I have in my life, and to be able to share some of my time helping others.
Wow, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Linda, how do you practice gratitude?
Every day, I'm thankful for so much. And
as an
one
8,
thing,
I guess I want to make sure you reflect.
As an eight. So one thing that I started doing is because, we like to be controlled and organized, is when I do my devotion every morning, first I write down what I'm thankful for. And if anything's on my mind that particular day, and then I'll read the devotion. And then I have a second devotion, then I just open at random. And it almost always will address what my thoughts are. So again, I just say, thank you, God. You always know exactly what I need, which is true. And I think I approach it kind of in an organized fashion, initially in the daytime. But throughout the day, I can see, a nice bird fly by the window. Thank you, God, that I saw that. I did that last week. I was on the Parkway and drove by that little pond that's near the Iroquois. And I just happened to catch a duck with his butt up in the air, and it made me laugh. I said, thanks, God, for letting me see that, because it was funny and it was just so darn cute. So I just try to appreciate everything every day. And this world we have is so miraculous that it's just unbelievable sometimes. So,
and just giving up that control, that where you're not trying to control those moments, but to just actually see God's hand in all the moments of the day.
Exactly. And I've tried to do that as an example in our study group on Wednesdays. as the facilitator, we do have someone who likes to be more hands-on and participating. So I have her lead the group now. And for someone who's an 8 who likes to be in charge and keep things going, that was a challenge, but I'm thankful that I'm doing it because it allows me to see other people's strengths that might not have been able to do that before.
Nice.
So I'm thankful for that too.
And Tracy, as a 6, and you already kind of identified that a lot of being a 6 is responding sometimes in fear, and that results in anxiety. How do you practice that gratitude? It's hard to be grateful for having anxiety and having that which sometimes can really rule your life. Yeah, I
Right.
think, yeah.
I think one of the attributes of 6s is that we question a lot, others' actions and our own actions. We're kind of always thinking about, is this right or wrong? Should we do this? Should we not do this? We spend a lot of time in that mode before we act. And so I think for me, in thinking about gratitude, knowing that I am a beloved child of God and created in his image, that my action or practice of gratitude is to act, is to move forward in security of his love, and that opportunities or decisions that are in front of me to trust in God, and to act. And that is a practice of gratitude, that I have gifts to offer because I am, 6s are made, as all of us are made in God's image. And that when we move forward and share those gifts, it helps other people. And so I think recognizing that is a practice of gratitude for me. Because as Linda was saying, I feel that I am thankful throughout the day for recognizing the beautiful birds and the relationships I have and the many blessings that I have in my life that I can name, but that insecurity and lack of action. And so for me, that would be the practice of gratitude, of moving forward in trust in God. So that's where I would be.
Ladies, would you say that taking the Enneagram course helped you to be thankful to God for who you are? To accept yourself as who you are and the person that God made in his image? Have you found that taking this course helped you to do that? At least it did for me. I feel like I am much more accepting of who I am and thankful to be who I am.
I would say yes, but also it gave me ideas on how I can be a healthier, more Christ-centered or Christ-like person than I am right now. How I can move forward and how I can grow.
And in doing that, you can be more grateful and practice.
Yes, I'm grateful for the Enneagram.
Yeah.
I would agree with Karen. The Enneagram makes you a bit uncomfortable with your number when you first start to understand it. And that's how you kind of tend to know that's where you are. And the journey is is incredible because you come to understand yourself more deeply and intimately. And I think becoming a healthier person, so that we really reflect who God and Jesus are out into the world, that we are that reflection. And for me, I also have great gratitude in understanding others better. I always felt that I had compassion or great caring for other people, but didn't really understand why certain people would come to the same situation as myself, but in such a different way. And so once you understand yourself better and work on being a more whole person, you also are better at appreciating other people and greater compassion for them. And I think it makes our working relationships and our interactions healthier and more productive. So I am very grateful for this Enneagram study that we've been on, and as well as this group on the screen, but all those that we've been in the study with, I feel we've grown closer together. And so that's really been a beautiful gift that's come from that as well.
Exactly. I agree with everything that both of you said, Karen and Tracy. And you're right. It's not easy to observe ourselves and not judge how we are, because we can't, if we're judging, then we can't learn, because we automatically go in that defensive mode. But I have learned so much about myself, and I was so sure that I was going to be a different number because of how I behave in most circumstances. But that is a learned behavior. And so learning to watch myself and really learn who I am has been wonderful. And certain things that I read when I go, oh my gosh, that's me. Like 8s do not like to only get part of the story. If you want me to help you with something, you better tell me everything that I need to know so that I can help you. Because if you give me bits and pieces, that is so annoying. And it's good to know that is just
questions.
That's
it's not fun. Yeah.
Right. That is innate in my number. And now that I know that, and I know the people who like to dole out little pieces of information, it makes it easier to say, okay, I need the whole story, and then I can help you. So I have learned a lot. I've learned how to communicate better with others, and hopefully to help them understand me a little bit more too. Like, don't string me along, just give me it all. Even if it's all bad news, we can deal with it better if we know the whole picture.
Well, and the design of the Enneagram,
so much.
The design of the Enneagram is that we would have more compassion for each other. If we have more
Yes.
compassion for each other, then we have more gratitude for each other. And we have gratitude
Exactly.
for all the differences that we have with each other. And so
Right.
again, there's our gratitude of how we practice that is with compassion and love for each other. So, well, ladies, thank you for giving your time today. And I know that those that are watching will have learned a lot about you and about how you are practicing gratitude and how you are approaching the world and with that gratitude in Christ. Thank you.
Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you.